I am back, and I am coming back with more revenge on crappy bosses. I hope you have a good boss. I'm cheersing to good bosses out there, or if you're your own boss. Have a good day. Working retail, I quit at the register on Black Friday. Oh my God, as someone who worked Black Fridays, Boxing Day for Canada over here, in retail, nightmare. They literally had to black out. It was a blackout holiday. Everyone had to work. It was blacked out. You could not book it off. And you had to do a minimum of a 12-hour shift. I had recently gotten another full-time job and was keeping this retail gig because I liked the employee discount. And due to my other job, this check was pure fun money. All that is to say I didn't need the retail job. My store manager comes over at hour 7 of my shift with chaos and a line of 100 people long and has the nerve to tell me my upsells weren't cutting it for how much traffic I was seeing in front of the customers. I already couldn't stand this bee, so I said, you know what, you do it, I'm done. And then I apologized to my coworkers on the way out. That would suck for everyone who had to work there. It would. The boss will replace, right? Boss? Since you're so good at upselling, you do it then. After working my entire career for a company as an engineer, I was laid off with others for no reason. Remaining boss requested all my files so they could continue my work. I said, the day I leave, you will get all my files. Last day of work, I assessed the mainframe and downloaded not just the relevant files, 20 years of files. That has to be so many. Tons and tons of folders and files, all in random folders. I sent him the link. He signed off. I left. He contacted me a few days later and said, that's not what I meant by all the files. I said, I don't work there anymore. I have no computer. I gave you exactly what you asked for. Utter chaos. Mayhem. What a headache. I guess that's where the petty revenge comes in. As far as my life goes, it was the crappiest job I ever took. Long hours, a lot of crunch, no comfortable vehicle, and a lot of travel. Every time I'd go to a different site, I would get like 20 different phone numbers for the various people I was communicating with. Anyway, all of my contacts for these people were on my company phone that was synced up to my personal Gmail, which stored all the phone numbers. At some point, management decided my job was redundant and decided to lay me off without notice and without severance. First thing I did was wipe my company phone clean before handing it over. A few days later, they called me asking where all the contact information was stored. I responded with, sorry, I don't work for you anymore. I'm surprised you even picked up the phone. I wouldn't even pick up the phone. You don't work there anymore. Unless you signed a contract where you had to give things back at the end of a contract, or if anything was terminated or whatever, I'm not taking calls. I was a program director developing and piloting a new program. Oh my God, I wish I was that cool and smart to be able to do that. And after a year of being overloaded and telling our executive director I either wanted a second person or a smaller caseload, he pulls me into his office and goes, we don't really think you're a good fit for this position, but you're a bright young lady and we'd hate to lose you. I'm giving you the option to stay and be my secretary. You have until 7 a.m. tomorrow to decide. I took an early lunch, walked to my other job, asked if I could take on more hours, walked back and told him I had found other employment and would have my stuff cleared out by noon. Not even wait till 7 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be out of here today. He asked if I could stay 2 more weeks and train a new person, and I told him no. What if we paid you a consultation fee? No, but you're the only person in the county certified. Should have thought of that earlier. This was in the middle of an audit where it was discovered that he owed me about $3,000 from unpaid hours. I like to call it my leaving bonus. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for this ending. See? Bosses, like, they try to use their power thinking like, oh, we'll pull a quick one on you. You can just be my secretary. And instead it's like, nope. In that case, I'm gonna quit, and I'm not gonna stick around and train someone new. If you think there's someone better fit for the position, perfect. You train them. My boss had completely been ignoring me because he perceived my actions of talking about an upcoming project with the COO, his boss, as me going over his head. It had been almost a month and he hadn't agreed to meet or talk with me. He would only send me tasks via email. I was tired of this childishness, so I found another job. With my resignation letter in hand, I walked to his office to resign, and he predictably refused to meet with me, claiming he was too busy. So I continued to walk to the COO's office to let him know I was resigning. The COO asked if my boss knew, which was the perfect time to let him know about the silent treatment I had been receiving. My old boss no longer works there. Well, now you really went over his head. That's how he's really gonna feel. He's gonna be like, oh, you didn't even resign with me? You went to the COO? And I would be like, yeah, well, you would have known if you had actually taken the 2 seconds to speak with me while I handed you the letter. On my last day at the bowling alley, I sent an email to head office detailing all the crap he'd been up to, but everyone was too afraid to report. Including trying to fire someone when he found out she was pregnant, a big no in my country. I heard later that the next day the regional manager and a couple of executives turned up for a surprise inspection. He's found in the office, having backed a 16-year-old female colleague in the corner, screaming at the top of his lungs with his big red vein throbbing face touching hers. She was distraught and obviously crying her eyes out. Manager was escorted off premises there and never heard from again. All this for a bowling alley job? Over my dead body. Not a friggin' chance. Oh God. Y'all ever think about like tears you've cried and things you've stressed over jobs, and you look back and you're like, so not worth my energy, my tears, my stress, my time, my peace? Sent them to the feds for Medicare fraud, and they got fined, $41.7 million. That's just a number I'll never comprehend. Truly. Mechanic at a commuter airline. Boss wanted me to sign off a plane pre-flight inspection. I refused to sign because the plane was not airworthy. He told me if I wished to continue working, then I'd better sign. My response, then I guess I don't work here anymore. I picked up my toolbox and left. Okay. Well, now I have anxiety because I'm on a flight in 3 days. Thank you for your service and for being honest and caring about the safety of the people flying in the plane. What if I'm on a plane that was just signed for, but not actually safe? New fear unlocked. New fear unlocked. Oh, please, everybody pray for my safety. My exit interview, when I was asked the reason for leaving, I simply said their name and nothing more. That must have been the most awkward moment of anyone's life. Can you imagine? Like, imagine the boss. Let's call him Bob. Bob is interviewing you, asking you why you're leaving, because you quit, blah, blah, blah. And literally, so what's the reason that you're leaving? What makes you want to quit this job? And they respond with, Bob, but they didn't write that down. They withheld $8,000 in pay and hired a lawyer to defend their actions. What? I hired a law student and we beat them into submission. You can hire a law student? That's probably a really dumb question, but that is coming from a drama student for a reason. You can hire someone who's still technically a student and doesn't have their law degree. They probably owed you $8,000 and they owed lawyer fees since they hired a lawyer. So you might as well have just ended up paying this person the $8,000 they worked for. Would have saved yourself some money. I was thinking about quitting, but was holding back. I scheduled a vacation with 3 extra days. It was a once-in-a-lifetime type of trip. He rejected my vacation request. I thought about it for a couple of hours, went to his office and told him I'm taking the trip no matter what. The next morning, the boss met me and gave me a formal written warning. I responded by giving him my 2-week notice. They apologized and tried to convince me not to leave, but it was too late. They played a little poker with you. They said, no vacation for you. You said, well, then that's fine. I quit because I'm going on vacation. And then they're like, oh no, we're sorry. We don't mean it. Come work for us still. We'll give you some vacation time. I quit a job because I got cast in a movie that was with James Franco at the time in Toronto, and I needed like 2 weeks off. It might have been a little more than 2 weeks, and my job said no, and I said, okay, well then I quit. and I want to leave immediately. Anyways, so I gave my 2 weeks. I filmed the movie, and funny story, recently, like last week, I hit my 100K milestone. I posted on Instagram, and one of my old coworkers wrote on it saying, hey, I used to work with you at blank. I don't know if you remember or not, but you quit to chase your dreams. This is really great to see you like trying to fulfill that. And it was so cool. And I'm like, what a full circle moment. Anyways, I never regretted quitting that job and did what I had to do. I just got a wave of tiredness. My eyes. I'm feeling like super congested all of a sudden. Anyways, on that note, I'm gonna go blow my nose, in all honesty. I gotta film another video, but I'm gonna blow my nose first. Stay classy out there, you guys. Stay sassy, and I hope whatever job you're in, you're happy. Like I truly, truly do. I'll see you tomorrow.